Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Andover, Minnesota in the US, and I'm here to bring you another live paper crafting class. I've been having technical issues though, and I'm on later than I'm supposed to be. It's about 10 minutes later. I'm so sorry about that, you guys. In fact, in the stress of trying to get it ready, I left my little script over there, so I have to make sure I grab that at some point. But anyways, it's good to see you all, and I'm excited to share. I have a fun fold card today. Surprise, surprise. I do those like half the time, don't I? I love fun fold cards. Hey Betty, glad that you could join me. Awesome. So I'm sorry again that I'm late. It is, what day is it today? It's Friday. I normally go live on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Central Time, but today I am going live, or I'm going live this week on Friday because we had this event that was going on for the last 3 days with Stampin' Up!, a demonstrator event called On Tour, and it was held online, and I just wanted to make sure that I was being able to participate fully in that event with my team. So I still have yet to follow up with team members and see what they thought, but there were posts at different times, and I just wanted to make sure I caught them and didn't have something like this interfering with it. So anyways, I miss you guys. It's been over a week. Again, it's Friday. It's May 15th at noon. So hopefully you all got the message and you can join in with me even if you're coming in a little late, because I came in late. But welcome, welcome. Fun fold card today. It's called an accordion display is what I'm calling it. It's similar to some other fun folds you may have seen before, but it has kind of an extra couple folds in it. So let's go to the computer and let's make sure that we have our screen set up here. I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see the measurements. It's great to see you too, Kathy. Hey, Joanne. So these are the measurements that you will need in order to make the card that I'm going to share with you today. Now, this is a card that I did with my team members back on April 28th in one of our online team events. My business is completely online, so I hold all of my events online, and we're kind of used to this. But I'm going to show you the card that we did, and it's going to be using some Ornate Garden products. Now, Ornate Garden is a new suite that is in the upcoming catalog, the 2020 through 21 annual catalog, which debuts on June 3rd. Gosh, that's just in a few weeks. Can you believe it's almost June? It's crazy. But the Ornate Garden Suite is packed with beautiful products, 2 stamp sets, 2 sets of dies, beautiful paper, that's specialty paper. It's got some foil to it on a couple of the sheets, and a few of the sheets actually. Some Gilded Gems, which is a beautiful gold accessory. Some ribbons. There's an embossing folder, which I've used with you just a couple weeks ago on those bright, colorful cards that looked like fruit. I think somebody compared it to, it looks so good, it looks like fruit, like you could eat it. So anyways, we're going to be using that same suite, and just a couple of the stamp sets, no dies today, 3 different colors of cardstock, just a swatch of the designer paper. So this card, the reason that it worked for me is because it used just a tiny bit of designer paper. I didn't have to prep a lot. So if you're a demonstrator and you need a make and take for your team, this is a great one actually. So just take a screenshot, right? These are the measurements, and I'm trying to think. Oh, we're going to use just a little bit of gold edge ribbon, gold metallic edge ribbon, which I think is hard to get right now because I think that we're having some issues with products getting shipped. Yeah, with all of this fun COVID stuff going on. I'm going to change my screen a little bit here. I don't want to, there, put me down a little bit lower there. There we go. Okay, these are the 2 stamp sets that I'm going to use. And I'm going to just open them up in front of you so you can see. I've already pulled these out of the little backing that it came with. And I've already attached my labels to the back side. So I'm going to show you how you mount these. So these just get stuck onto your block. So this block is the E-size block. And then we're gonna be using this one, but I'm gonna do something a little different to it. And it might shock a few of you who have never considered this before. But I'm gonna do some surgery on my stamps. I'm cutting. I'm gonna cut my stamp into 2 separate pieces. Now, once it's cut, there's no going back. So if you're gonna do this, just know that it won't go back together. But I'm gonna store them next to each other. And the little sheet that comes with your stamps will allow me to kind of figure out, you know, how much room I need on a card if I want that thank you to be spelled horizontally like this. You know, I can kind of lay it across my card or whatever, and no, it's kind of a good measuring tool. But I want to use these 2 stamps separately. I want one to be on top and the other one to be at the bottom. So I'm going to mount them on 2 separate blocks. Now you could do a masking technique if you don't want to cut your stamps in half, but I find that this is just, you know, I don't know. I just feel like I have more flexibility. So we've got our stamps ready to go. We're going to cut the base piece of our card. They are beautiful stamps. I agree with you, Jan. Is it Jean? Jean. I'm guessing it's Jean. But it looks like it because you have 2 N's at the end. Is it Jeanne? It's beautiful either way, right? All right, so we're going to cut our cardstock in half. I'm going to zoom in just a tad here so you can see my measurements. So I'm bringing my 8.5 by 11 cardstock. This is the 8.5 direction. I'm going to bring it to the 4 1/4 inch mark. So we're going to just cut it in half here. And we'll set that aside for another card. We're now going to move our cardstock in the opposite direction. So we're going parallel to the short end. And we're going to score, and I'm going to look at my cheat sheet over here, right? Hey, Kendra. We're going to score at 1 inch, 1.5 inch, 2 inch, and 2.5 inches, okay? The first one, though, it's going to be easier to hold my cardstock if I use this side of my trimmer. So I'm going to do my first score line going this way. That's my scoring blade, the light one. And now I'm going to flip it this way and continue on. So I've got my 1.5. I've got my 2, and I've got my 2.5 inch score line. Okay, I should see 4 score lines in there. Now we're going to go in a little bit further, and for that we need to extend the arm on our trimmer. So we're going to go to 6, I want to make sure I'm doing this right, 6 inches, 6.5. I keep looking up at the comments hoping that Jean or Jeanne will message back telling me how I am supposed to pronounce her name. I'm very curious. 7. You probably already said it and I missed it, right? And 7.5. Okay, now we've got 4 score lines again. So 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5. Very easy measurements, right? Thanks, Sharon. So we're going to put one other score line in there if you've noticed on the directions, but we want to stamp first. So, because I find it's easier to stamp that message before you put a crease in there. We are going to bend this up a little bit so that we can see exactly where we're going when we stamp our sentiment. So we're going to open up our Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad, and we're going to ink up our thank first, and we're going to center that. It's going to be a nice big thank you right up here. And by center, I mean center from this score line to this edge. And then we're going to ink up this one and put that right below. There. Now we can come back and we can put that extra score line in there. So we'll bring back our trimmer, and this score line is going to be at the 9.5 inch mark. Okay? So 9.5 inches. See, it goes right through where we have our words. But this will allow us to close our card up. Okay? If we don't have that extra score line in there, it's not going to fit in a standard envelope. So we need that score line there. Okay, next we're gonna bring in our already cut pieces. I've already cut these to the sizes that I shared on the measurement list. So our basic black is 3¼ inches by 4 inches. This piece is 3/4 of an inch by 4 inches, so they're the same height. And then the Whisper White is just under, and I went by 1/8 inches. So are you ready? So this is 3⅛ inches by 3 7/8, and this piece is, let me think, 5/8. Yep, 5/8 by 3 7/8. This is one of the swatches that comes from that designer paper. Just wanted a touch of it. Okay, so we're gonna set those things off to the side. I'm gonna look at my finished project here so I can make sure I'm doing it correctly. And oh, we need this stamped. So we have to bring in our grid paper. This is our small grid paper. So, all right, and then we're gonna go ahead and just ink up this stamp. I'm turning it upside down, the ink pad, because it's such a big stamp that this is probably the easiest way for me to ink it up and to make sure that I'm inking it up fully, because you can see the whole entire thing. We'll close that up, we'll flip it around, and I want my flowers to go upward, and I am gonna I'm not gonna fit it the way you'd think I'd fit it. I'm gonna kind of go like this. So you can see the paper is sticking out here. You'd probably think that I should have done it a little bit more turned that way, but I wanted these flowers to kind of look like they're coming straight up rather than being angled. Okay, nice and firm. And so you can see this is typically how you'd think you'd want to do it to fit the whole thing on, but that's okay. So I knew I was going to go outside the edge of my paper, which is why you want to have some grid paper or scrap paper underneath. All right. Next, got all our stamping done. Now we're going to come in with a couple inks. So we're going to be using the crumb cake ink and a coordinating sponge. And what I mean by coordinating is I mark mine. I take my sponges and I put it's hard to read. It does say crumb cake, or it used to. I take like a Sharpie marker or whatever, and that's the way I've always done it. Some people, they take and put a stapled piece of cardstock on the end. That way they have a handle too, and your fingers don't get as inky, right? So your sponges come like this, and I just cut mine in half and then cut those halves into wedges, little pie pieces. So let's open that up. I've also got the pretty Purple Posy. Purple Posy, and I want to make sure I'm telling you right. So these are the Purple Posy markers. By the way, I just did this other demo for another video, and my fingernails are dirty, and I'm so sorry. I've got black here, I've got stained fingers. They look like, oh, I'm so sorry. So I've got Purple Posy dark and light blends markers, and I've got a light Highland Heather marker blends. Let's start by going ahead and sponging the edges. Sponging the edges of your cardstock layer just gives it a little bit of shadow and allows it to make it look like it's popped up. Has a little more texture to it. It gives it just a little bit something more. Sponging used to be huge a few years back. Haven't seen a lot of people doing it lately, but for this card, I wanted it to have a more earthy feel, a more natural feel. So we are adding sponging. And we're also going to start coloring, and this is, let's see, this is the Highland Heather. So this one's going to be a little bit darker. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and show you on my scrap paper here. So that's Highland Heather. And then we have, this is the dark Purple Posy. You can see it's a little bit lighter. And this is the light Purple Posy. Okay? So let's zoom in, then you can see better. And we're going to start coloring. And I'm not going to do every single flower. I'm just going to do little bits and pieces of about 4 of them. And while I'm doing the coloring, I am going to point out that I'm leaving some spaces white. I'm doing that on purpose because I kind of want white to be part of the petals as well. So as I'm going around, you'll see that there's just a tad bit of white everywhere. I'm coloring with my pen at an angle because I don't want to put pressure directly onto the tip. You know, I don't want to go straight down. You want to protect your tips. Your markers come with 2 tips. Now, some of you may be saying, I thought that the Blends markers were retiring. And what's happening is they're renumbering, they're packaging them differently. They're going to have them only available in packs of 2. They're not going to sell them singly. So that's why they were on the retiring list, just because of repackaging, renumbering. But they will be around. These colors are staying. And so if you have Blends markers, yay, you can continue to use them if you're a demonstrator. You can continue to use them no matter what. But yes, they are not leaving us. Good news, right? I'm going to just do the little edges here too on some of these. The color I've noticed too on my purples especially is when I color with them, they start out kind of in a reddish purple, and then as they cool or dry, they get more like a bluish purple. Interesting, right? Okay, before we do the next couple, I'm going to come in with the next color, and I'm going to add just a little bit closer to the actual inside of the flower here. That's going to be my shadow. When I work with blends, I do the light first, and then I go to the darkest, and then I come back with the light. So I am doing the lightest, the medium, the darkest, and then I'm going to come back with the lightest and do some blending with them. Because right now, when you look at these, they're looking like the color is all kind of just regular coloring. You can see the lines between them, between the light and dark. It's not that spectacular yet. I've also got a bullet tip on my markers. When I pull off my caps, by the way, you'll notice that I wrap one of my hands around it, and then with my 2 hands, I use my fingers to help pull off the cap straight, because I do not want, in fact, I'm going to use the brush end anyways. This is my, oh good, Highland Heather, okay. I do not want the tip of my markers to be hurt or affected by me pulling off at an angle. So you have to be really careful when you're pulling your caps off, not to pull them so that they bend the tip of your marker, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Also, store your markers so that they're flat. You don't want them to be upright. You've got 2 tips on your markers. You've got the bullet point and you've got the brush tip. And you want to make sure that your brush tip and bullet point have an even amount of ink on them. So storing them flat will help. Plus they are a squarish kind of barrel, so they shouldn't roll. I mean, there's maybe a little bit of rolling if your table isn't even, but they've got the squarish barrel on them. So, okay, now we're going to come back with our light purple posy. And again, if you're coming in late, just know that I have dirty fingernails. Is this our light one? It's looking dark to me. It is light. Okay. And we're just going to blend to get kind of that color to be more cohesive and smooth, as it transitions from the light to the dark. And I'm not doing my best coloring, you guys. I'm going super fast on this because I'm trying not to do even as much detail as I normally do. You'll want to watch different videos if you want to learn more about blends coloring, but I'm hoping that I'm giving you some good tips here. Okay, we're going to go with that, and then we're going to color in just a little bit of the petals from the daisies that are sticking out here. I think these are daisies. So we'll do the same thing. And I'm leaving just a few white areas, starting with the lightest color, which is our light purple posy. It's looking very pink when you first put it down. And then we're going to come back with the medium color, which is our dark purple posy. So dark purple posies next. This one's a lot faster to color, by the way, because I can just kind of go in a circle. And then our light Highland Heather will be at the base. And it's okay if you color the center of those daisies too, because, whoops, because those are gonna get covered up anyways, so. Okay, and now we're gonna blend out with our lightest color again. I'm shaking my head because normally I have a finished one ready for you and I don't have to do the whole process, but maybe some of you are enjoying this, I don't know. It's been an interesting week, we'll just say that. We have new catalogs. I've got 32 boxes of 8 catalogs sitting in our living room, and they're taking over. They're taking over the living room. I've got my 2 boys and my husband who are helping me to package everything up. I gotta get my snail. Hang on. I think my oh, here it is. Okay. All right. So yeah, it's the catalog's coming in, and then the on tour online. It's been an interesting week. It's just kind of busier than normal. Okay, so we're layering that on top of our black. This piece is going to get centered into this area of our card here. So, oh, and before we do that, we're going to add some ribbon. In fact, I think I like it best when it's tucked between here. So let's keep this here because we want to color some ribbon. We're going to take just a little bit, like 2 to 3 inches at the most. Thanks, Terry. All right, so we're gonna go like this. We're gonna angle cut. Kelly says, yay! She said, yay, catalogs. All right, so we've got angle cuts on those 2. And we're going to color with our, let's do our dark, here it is. This is our dark, here's our Highland Heather and our dark purple posy. So we're gonna color with those 2 markers. I don't know why I picked them, just randomly, right? So we're gonna go ahead and just wipe that color on like this. This is our light Highland Heather. Interesting. It's so pink when you first color it. I hope that one dries well too. Let's do our light purple posy. I want a real big difference between the 2. So we'll do our light here. And now we'll let them dry for just a minute. Let's go ahead while we're waiting for that to dry a bit. We're going to add our designer paper onto our black, like so. And we'll add this piece right now. And that piece is going to go right into this section of our card. So that will go here. And you've got like an 1/8 inch border all the way around. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and see if we can separate these again. We can do it. We can do it. Okay, so we're going to add our ribbons coming out from the side here, like this. Let's go in a little bit. Like that and like that. So we've got a couple ribbon accents going out. And now we can go ahead and add this layer to our black, like this. Okay, we'll move this out of the way. We'll bring our snail back in and we'll add that layer into this section now. You guys are probably like, oh, how is this gonna fold? It's so pretty. It's such a pretty card. Do we have it centered? Yes. Okay, and we have an 1/8 inch of a border around that as well. We want to add our Gilded Gems. These are gold Gilded Gems. We've got a big one that we'll put right there in the middle of that flower. We've got a medium one because you got 3 sizes on this sheet. We've got a medium one that we'll put here. So that's why you didn't need to worry about, you know, finishing up the inside or leaving the insides white. And then this one we'll put right there. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a bit so you can see how this works. So you're going to fold like a fan. Like that. Same thing on this side. We're going to fold, you know, kind of like when you're folding fans in school when you're a kid and you need to cool yourself off because the schools don't have air conditioning. So you're just going back and forth. You're doing that little zigzag fold. Okay? So that'll look like that and like that when it's closed up. And this just goes right to that little spot, but you want to make sure your ribbons are sticking out. So you'll put that into your envelope like this, and when they open it up, it's so strong. It just wants to, like, you know, come out to you like that. And you can write words here. You can put them on the back side if you'd rather not have your handwriting show, but you've got your fun, bold sentiment off to the side here, and they can put that on display. This would be good for, like, you know, if you had a different kind of sentiment that said congratulations or celebrate or you're special or something. Thank you is nice too. And I wanted to use the sentiments from this stamp, this suite anyways, but I can totally see having something that, you know, it's a more displayable font, not font, but sentiment. So, okay, now the last step is basically just taking that bone folder and making those creases just a little more crisp, and that'll help to hold it flatter in the envelope. But I hope you liked this idea. This is one of my favorite folds right now. I did it with the last paper pumpkin kit. I think it was the April kit, the My Wonderful Family kit. Here's a couple other examples. I'll start with them closed and pop them open for you. So this one's done with pool party, the pool party blends. And so that one says So Grateful. And then this last one also says So Grateful, but done with the pink ribbon, that the petal pink ribbon that is retiring as well from the spring catalog. But all of these are metallic edge ribbon. This is the gold, and those are both colored. And then the pink, petal pink, comes as is. And so that is petal pink with some flamingo. I think I used the light flamingo, Flirty Flamingo blends and the light petal pink blends on that one. But the same idea, just a different look depending on which color they are, right? So let's zoom out a bit so you can see them all. So there we have our accordion display cards. Aren't they exciting? So fun. They just, you know, something that you definitely could put on a mantle or a windowsill or something like that. I'm glad you like them, you guys. It is different, isn't it? There's cards that I've seen where you don't have this many folds in them, and it's just kind of like, you know, one fold in and then one fold out kind of thing. But I don't know where I got the idea to just put that extra fold in there. I don't know if it was a card I saw, or I don't know. Sometimes I don't know where I get my ideas and I feel bad. But I hope that you liked those. We're going to draw for prizes, but before we do, I want to remind you what the prizes were from last week. Last week, we had a really fun prize. I shared with you those neat door hangers that you could make out of a half a sheet of cardstock. And so I brought in this beautiful suite here. So let me move these out of the way for a minute. So the, what was it called? Forever Greenery, I think it's called. It's a new suite in the annual catalog. And so I am gifting the winners a quarter of that pack. So a 6x6. It's got 12 double-sided sheets in it, a couple of the gold rings, a sampling of the Forever Gold foil designer paper, it's called, or something like that. The gold designer paper. And then, and where did it go? It's down here somewhere. I've got 2 ribbons in here. I'll just show it to you this way. So there's 2 ribbons that are also in the trim pack. The gold trim, metallic trim, and then this stuff here. So you'd get a sampling of that as well. So we have 2 winners, and I've already drawn their names. The door hanger, yes, Michelle. So I've already drawn their names. And those 2 winners, let me pull their names up and put them on the computer so you can see them. Oops, hang on. There we go. So the winner from last week's Facebook Live video recording is Dottie Taylor. So Dottie, make sure that you reach out to me. I am having trouble getting in touch with a few winners, and in fact I'm going to call out their names on this live too, just in case you're with us and you're a winner. You need to reach out to me because I can't always find the person that won. So or I message you on Facebook Messenger or whatever, and maybe you don't use Facebook Messenger. So hopefully these people, and I'll tell you their names soon, will get in touch with me. And then the other winner is Debbie Lindauer, and she is one that commented on the recording that I put on YouTube just a few days later. So Debbie and Dottie, congratulations to you both on that. Okay, so let's look at the prizes for today. I have some product that's retiring, and I'm so sad to see these go. I've got 3 full packs of these beautiful rhinestones. These are the peacock, what are they called? Noble Peacock rhinestones. And so they're colored rhinestones in beautiful colors. And I've also got a bunch of adhesives from Paper Pumpkin Kits. And so each of those winners will get a couple sheets of dimensional, little pop-up dimensional adhesives as well. So we're going to draw for 1 winner today, and then next week we will draw for our other 2 winners from the recording that I put on YouTube in just a couple days, and then from anybody who comments here over the next few days until I go live again on Wednesday. Okay, so let's set up the computer so that we can do a drawing. By the way, you are at my my Facebook page. My Facebook page is called Stamp Your Art Out with Rachel, so thank you for joining me here. We're going to grab the live video link. So hopefully you all have your comments in, and you're going to be drum rolling either in your head or whatever, think good thoughts, right? Everybody wants to be a winner at one point. So let's do clicking here on our live. Let's click on our actual live video link. We're going to grab the link for that, and we're going to come over to our comment picker app. Whoops, that's not it. Here's our comment picker app, commentpicker.com. We're going to put the link in here and click Get Comments. And we have 146 of you that have commented during this. Thank you. Let's click Start. I love it. You guys are voting. Me. And the winner is Sandy Hall. Congratulations, Sandy. Yay. I think I can actually picture what you look like from your profile. I think I know who you are. So yay. I do. Congratulations to you, Sandy. You get the peacock rhinestones and a couple sheets of those dimensionals. All right, and then you know what? Let's just do this too. For those of you that aren't familiar with, and you know what? I probably had this sitting in the way, didn't I? Let's go back to her name so you can see where we were. There we are, Sandy Hall. Maybe that wasn't in the way. I don't know. All right, so let's go back to here because now I want to introduce you, for those of you that don't know, this is my website, stampyourartout.com. So if you're looking for recordings or past lives, you can always go to my video section here. So you go to stampyourartout.com, click on videos, and you can go to my video gallery. And where that will take you is just a little page area here where all of my videos that I have typically on YouTube too, but this is a quick way to access the videos. Here is the Forever Greenery one. This is one that I did on the new colors and color and comparisons. Pre-order peaks. You saw this one. There's that ornate floral embossing folder that I was just referring to. So past videos can be accessed here. You can just click the next button and you can keep scrolling through and find the videos that you like. Also, this is another thing that a lot of people don't realize is when you click on one of my videos and you access it here, you can click on the YouTube here, this little link, and when you're on the YouTube link, it can give you, in the description, there is a link to the actual video post, or the post where I put it on my blog. So if you just click this show more here, underneath any video, there's usually a description. You just click show more, and here is the link that will take you to my page where I shared that actual video and the photos and all that kind of stuff. So that's where you can find it. It's a quicker way of accessing it. I hope that helped. All right, so what else? Let's, I think that's it. I don't know, I don't have my script in front of me. My next live will be next Wednesday, and that will be here on my Facebook page at Stamp Your Art Out with Rachel. If you're looking for any of the products that I shared, just know that if I told you that they're going to be new on June 3rd, you can't find them yet. But most of the items you can find right now. Just go to stampyourartout.com and click shop. Or if you're a demonstrator, buy from yourself. Or if you have a demonstrator, buy from them. But some of these things aren't available till June 3rd. So just keep that in mind. Next week, Wednesday, I believe, and you know what? Since I don't have my script, I'm winging it here, you guys. It's the 20th. Let me look. Yes, Wednesday the 20th. For whoever was with me last week, remember I said the date wrong? I'm so sorry about that. Today is the 15th. It's not the 13th. Anyways, so yes, so 5 more days from now, I'll be live and I'll be back on my Wednesday schedule for a while. So Wednesday the 20th at 11 a.m. Central Time. I hope that you can join me. And, oh, did I draw another winner? I thought I did. Yes, I did. I did. Okay. That question just came across by Diana. Diana, yes, I did. You must have missed it. Sorry about that. The winner, again, let's just call her name out. I forgot. Sandy, right? Sandy? Is it Sandy? Sandy Hall? Yes, Sandy Hall. She was the one from today. So, but yes. And this video will be shared on my blog. I was going to do it tomorrow, but I have to get those catalogs, those 200 and some catalogs out in the mail. And we have a big job to do in just a few hours. My family's going to help me get those catalogs into envelopes. So, so instead, I am giving myself a little break tonight. I'm not doing my blog post until tomorrow evening after these have gone out in the mail. The catalogs have gone out in the mail. So you can come to stampyourartout.com on Sunday and you'll be able to see photos of these accordion display cards. You'll see a link to the video. You'll see a list of supplies again so that you can shop for those products if you'd like. I hope that you had a great time. Thank you all for joining me, and I'm glad that you like the Wednesday schedule. I do too. It works really well for me. All right. Have a great rest of your week. Have a nice weekend, and now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.